In an unexpected turn of events that captured national attention, comedian and political commentator Bill Maher accepted an invitation to dine at the White House with President Donald Trump. The dinner, orchestrated by musician Kid Rock, brought together figures from diverse political backgrounds in a bid to foster dialogue and understanding. This gathering not only highlighted the complexities of political discourse in America but also underscored the potential for common ground amidst ideological differences. The unlikely invitation. The genesis of this notable dinner traces back to Kid Rock's appearance on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast. During their conversation, Kid Rock proposed the idea of Maher meeting President Trump, emphasizing the importance of engaging with differing viewpoints. Despite Maher's well-documented criticisms of Trump, he agreed to the meeting, recognizing the value of direct dialogue. Kid Rock, known for his support of Trump, played a pivotal role in facilitating this encounter, aiming to bridge the political divide by bringing together two prominent figures from opposite ends of the spectrum. The Daily Wire. A dinner at the White House. The dinner took place in the White House's private dining room, with attendees including President Trump, Bill Maher, Kid Rock, and UFC CEO Dana White. The atmosphere was a blend of formality and candid conversation, reflecting the unique assembly of personalities. President Trump, despite initial reservations due to Maher's critical stance, extended a warm welcome, setting the stage for an evening of open discussion. The menu featured classic American cuisine, symbolizing a nod to shared cultural values despite political differences. The Daily Wire. Engaging conversations and shared concerns. Throughout the evening, the conversation traversed various topics, from national policies to cultural issues. One of the more poignant moments occurred when Maher expressed concerns about the possibility of Trump seeking a third term. President Trump addressed these concerns directly, reiterating his adherence to constitutional limits while acknowledging the complexities of political ambitions. The dialogue also touched upon areas of mutual agreement, such as the importance of national security and the challenges posed by political correctness in contemporary discourse. These exchanges highlighted that, despite stark differences, there exist areas where perspectives align, underscoring the multifaceted nature of political beliefs. In the aftermath of the dinner, both Maher and Kid Rock shared their reflections publicly. Maher acknowledged the significance of the meeting, emphasizing the importance of engaging with those holding opposing views to foster understanding and reduce polarization. Kid Rock expressed optimism about the potential of such dialogues to bridge divides, noting that the evening exemplified how individuals with divergent opinions could find common ground. The public reaction was mixed, with some praising the initiative for bipartisan dialogue, while others viewed it with skepticism, reflecting the deep-seated divisions within the American political landscape. New York Post. Implications for political discourse. This dinner serves as a microcosm of the broader challenges and opportunities in American political discourse. It underscores the necessity of open communication and the willingness to engage with differing viewpoints to foster a more cohesive society. While such meetings alone cannot resolve deep-rooted divisions, they represent steps toward mutual understanding and respect. The willingness of public figures to engage in such dialogues sets a precedent for constructive engagement, highlighting the potential for unity amidst diversity. In conclusion, the dinner involving President Trump, Bill Maher, and Kid Rock stands as a testament to the complexities of political interactions and the enduring need for dialogue across ideological lines. It reflects the multifaceted nature of beliefs and the potential for common ground, serving as a reminder that, despite differences, the pursuit of understanding remains a vital endeavor in the American democratic experience. Bill Maher had been in many heated debates throughout his career, but walking into a dinner with Donald Trump and Kid Rock at the same table felt like stepping into a satirical skit. The White House's private dining room was elegantly set up, with soft lighting casting a warm glow over the fine china and gold-rimmed glassware. The ambience was a strange mix of formal sophistication and relaxed camaraderie, largely due to the eclectic mix of attendees. Kid Rock, dressed in his signature laid-back rock star attire, had an air of confidence as if he was the real host of the night. Trump, on the other hand, exuded his usual larger-than-life presence, making sure to command attention with his booming voice and animated gestures. UFC CEO Dana White was the quiet observer at first, but anyone familiar with his background knew he wouldn't hold back once the conversation got intense. Bill Maher, never one to back down from a challenge, sat with a smirk as if he had just walked into a comedic roast. He wasn't sure if this dinner was going to turn into a serious discussion about American politics or a wild ride of unexpected remarks from the former president and Kid Rock. Either way, he was ready. The menu was nothing too extravagant: classic American steak, mashed potatoes, and a side of grilled vegetables. A nod, perhaps, to Trump's well-documented love for hearty, familiar meals. The wine flowed freely, and before long, the conversation turned from pleasantries to the real reason everyone had gathered that night. Part 3. Bill Maher and Trump's verbal sparring begins. From the get-go, it was clear that Maher wasn't there to simply smile and nod. He wanted to confront Trump directly on several issues, including the looming 2024 election. "So, are you really planning a comeback tour?" Maher quipped, cutting into his steak. Trump, never one to pass up the opportunity for theatrics, leaned back with a confident grin. "Bill, they want me back. You know that. People tell me all the time, sir, you were the best, we need you again. I mean, have you seen what's happening right now? It's a disaster. The country's in trouble." Maher rolled his eyes but chuckled. "You realize I make a living off of criticizing you, right? You coming back would be a goldmine for me." The table erupted in laughter. Even Trump, who usually bristled at direct mockery, took the joke in stride. But Maher wasn't about to let the conversation stay lighthearted for long. "What about democracy, though? You still pushing that stolen election stuff?" Maher pressed, taking a sip of his wine. Trump's expression darkened slightly. "Look, all I'll say is a lot of people have questions. And you know what? It's not just me saying it, millions of Americans feel the same way. We need fair elections, Bill." Kid Rock, who had been mostly enjoying his meal up to that point, jumped in. "Look, man, the way I see it, people just don't trust the system anymore. Doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. That's why folks like Trump, even if you hate him, they love that he fights back." Maher sighed, rubbing his temple. "So, your argument is that if enough people believe something is rigged, it must be?" Dana White finally chimed in. "I don't think that's what he's saying, Bill. People are just frustrated. The media doesn't help either. It's all so divided." It was a surreal scene. Bill Maher, known for his brutal takedowns of conservative figures, sitting across from Trump, Kid Rock, and Dana White, actually engaging in somewhat civil discourse. Sure, there was tension, but surprisingly, there was also a willingness to listen, at least to some extent. But things took a turn when the topic of Kid Rock's influence on policy decisions came up. At one point, the conversation took an unexpected comedic turn when Maher brought up a wild claim that Kid Rock had once advised Trump on handling international affairs, specifically North Korea. "I gotta ask," Maher said, leaning in with a smirk. "Did you actually give Trump advice on what to do about Kim Jong-un?" Kid Rock burst out laughing, nearly spilling his drink. "Oh, man. Okay, so here's what happened." He turned to Trump. "You remember this, right?" Trump nodded, grinning like a showman ready for a grand reveal. Kid Rock continued, "So, one time I was at the White House and Trump starts showing me these maps and documents. He's like, 'Kid, what do you think we should do about North Korea?'" Maher's eyes widened. Wait, you're telling me that the President of the United States actually asked you for foreign policy advice?" Kid Rock shrugged. "I mean, kinda. I was like, dude, you're asking me? I'm AF ********************* ING rockstar. What do I know?" The table exploded with laughter. Even Maher, who had entered the dinner expecting more serious debates, was now wiping away tears. Trump, never one to downplay his ability to seek alternative opinions, chimed in. "Hey, listen, sometimes you get the best advice from unexpected places. And let me tell you, Kid Rock has great instincts. He just gets it." Maher was shaking his head, utterly dumbfounded. "So let me get this straight, you're telling me that while sitting in the Oval Office with classified documents in front of you, you turned to Kid Rock and said, 'What do you think we should do about North Korea?'" Kid Rock held up his hands. "Swear to God." And I just went, "Dude, I have no idea, maybe you should talk to a general?" The absurdity of the moment was undeniable. Maher couldn't decide whether to be horrified or impressed at the sheer unpredictability of Trump's presidency. "That," Maher finally said, still laughing, "is exactly why I say your presidency was like a reality TV show." Trump, rather than taking offense, grinned proudly. "And you know what? It was a damn good one." As the night wore on, the conversation swung between hilarious absurdity and heated debate, but one thing was clear, this was a dinner no one at the table would ever forget. As the dinner progressed, the conversation returned to politics, but this time, it took on a more serious tone. Bill Maher, still trying to process the absurdity of Kid Rock's involvement in foreign policy discussions, leaned in toward Trump with a pointed question. "All right, Mr. President," Maher said, swirling his wine glass. "Tell me this. If you get re-elected in 2024, What's stopping you from trying to stay in power beyond 2 terms? You've floated the idea before. Trump smirked, taking a bite of his steak. Bill, come on. I know you love to say I'm a dictator in waiting, but let me tell you something, you don't have to worry. I believe in the Constitution. But if the people demand it, what can I do? Maher shook his head, laughing incredulously. You just can't help yourself, can you? That's exactly how strongmen operate. You plant the idea in people's heads, let them run with it, and then act like you're just going along with the crowd. Kid Rock chimed in. Look, man, the people just don't trust the government anymore. Doesn't matter if it's Trump or anyone else. The system is broken. Maher pointed his fork at him. See, that's where I actually agree with you, kid. People have lost trust in institutions, in government, in media. And you know what? Trump helped accelerate that. Trump leaned forward, his eyes gleaming. Or maybe, Bill, I just exposed it. The table fell silent for a moment. Even Maher, for all his criticisms, had to admit that Trump's presidency had shattered long-standing norms and forced uncomfortable conversations onto the national stage. Dana White, who had been quiet for a while, finally spoke. You know, I don't think we're ever going to agree on all this. But I'll tell you what, I respect people who are willing to come to the table and actually have these conversations instead of just screaming at each other on Twitter. Maher nodded. Yeah, I'll give you that. I don't think we solved any problems tonight, but at least we talked. Trump, grinning, raised his glass. To talking. Maher hesitated for a moment, then lifted his own. To talking, and to whatever the hell this dinner was. Everyone clinked glasses, a bizarre but strangely fitting end to an evening that had felt like a cross between a heated political debate, a late-night comedy special, and an episode of Survivor, White House edition. As Maher left the White House that night, he couldn't help but reflect on what had just happened. He had dined with one of the most polarizing figures in American history, debated him to his face, and even laughed with him. Maybe, just maybe, there was something to be said for sitting down with people you vehemently disagree with, even if one of them is Kid Rock.